Hello and welcome to the 5th edition of the Goa Arts and Literary Festival. I'm Giselle Figueiredo, and today we have with us an important literary artist, Mr. Abhay Kumar. So I would like to know, what was your stepping stone towards your literary and artistic career?
I started writing poems after becoming a diplomat. Earlier than that, I used to compose poems in my mind, but I never wrote them. So these were like wind poems to the wind.
Okay.
And also, as a student studying in the college and university, and later preparing to become a diplomat. These all were very taxing times, and hardly left me with any energy to pursue my literary interests. But after becoming a diplomat, I went to Russia. I was in Moscow, where I started writing my poems. And but before I started writing my poems, I wrote a memoir, and that was about how my life was for the first 25 years. And that's the way I started my literary career.
That's fantastic. Your book, River Valley to Silicon Valley, can you tell us the story or the idea behind that book?
River Valley to Silicon Valley is a memoir, and it's a story of my own family. So my brother, who joined Hewlett Packard after graduating from JNU. So it's basically inspiration came from him, that our grandfather, he represented the river valley, the age-old river valleys, of civilizations of Indus and Nile and Ganges and so on. So this was a memoir which described a journey of my own family. It was a parallel narrative of India's journey as well, as a democracy, as a new country, as a new republic, from the river valley to Silicon Valley. And the journey was parallel in the sense that my grandfather represented a dependent India, a colonial India, while my brother, the grandson, represented a new India, which was which was symbolized by a rising Silicon Valley. So this was the inspiration. I thought that I could weave a story around the story of my own family, my own story of becoming a civil servant, as well as my story of my brother becoming, joining the Silicon Valley of India. And also tell the story of India, how India has managed to rise from an agrarian society to an information power in such a short span of time through these decades, through green revolution, through reforms in education, etc. So that's the story.
Do your writings have a particular theme or a schematic, or is it just a story at a time?
My writings are a flow of the experiences I have as I go on in my life, the journey of life. So my after River Valley, my next book was, it's called Enigmatic Love Poems from Moscow. And obviously, as a young person, you have obsession with things like love and so on. So that book it's a collection of my meditations on love. And my understanding of love. So it began with a poem called Love, which was only uses 4 words, and it's and very in a very strange way. So and the love poem which I would like to share with you was, love, beautiful silence, violent silence, silent violence, beautiful violence.
Wow, that's amazing.
So it depicts the journey of love, how it starts, and how it slowly unfolds through time.
Yeah. Okay, wow, that is amazing. You've written a couple of anthems. I would like you to tell our young writers out there, the difference between an anthem and a poem, and what are the different guidelines you follow whilst writing them?
Anthems are supposed to be sung by everybody. So the key difference between poetry and anthem is that an anthem has to be accessible, first of all. It has to be understood by people, and it has to be easy and short, so that people can sing it. So the first anthem which I wrote was Earth Anthem. That was way back in St. Petersburg in 2008. But it was put to music recently, a year ago, in Nepal, and then later it was released in 2013 by two eminent persons in Delhi. And Earth Anthem is, so the Earth Anthem was, my strong feeling that, as children, school children, we sing national anthems on different occasions.
Correct, yeah.
But there are 196 nations who are part of the United Nations, and each of these nations have national anthems.
True.
So children in these different countries, they all sing their own national anthems. But what we don't sing is an anthem for our planet, to which all of these 196 countries belong to which all of us are part of. And I thought that it would not be difficult if all of us, if we sing an Earth Anthem along with our national anthems.
Correct, yes.
And I tried to figure out that what could be an Earth Anthem be like. And I thought that at least the Earth Anthem should be in the 6 official languages of the United Nations. And apart from that, an Earth Anthem should not only be human-centric, because this planet does not belong to us humans only. It also belongs to the animals and the plants and so many million other species who share this planet with us. So their voice also had to be included in an Earth Anthem, and try to do that. And now this anthem is officially used by CBSE India for the schools, and it's used across the world, in Africa, in Australia, by different schools. After the Earth Anthem, I thought that we have a very close-knit community in South Asia, and South Asia itself needs an anthem, because in South Asia we are closer, we share different languages, and we could also sing a song together. Maybe not an anthem, but we could have a song. So I wrote a South Asian song in 8 languages spoken in South Asia, plus English, so it makes it 9 languages altogether. And that song has become very popular. It's played on national channels in India, in Nepal, in other countries. So poetry is the base of anthem, but it is very much simplified, accessible poetry, which could be understood and sung by a common person.
Correct. So you started this unique literary project called Capitals, which you're editing at the moment, which is a collection of poems of different countries and their capitals. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's most international project ever thought, to include 196 countries and their capitals and their most happening or celebrated poets, poet laureates. So I have had tremendous response so far. I've been working on it since past 2 years, and the contributors include the Nobel laureate Derek Walcott, Pulitzer Prize winning poet Mark Strand, who just died 3 days ago, and T.S. Eliot Prize winning George Sethis, national laureates, poet laureates from over 100 countries have contributed to this poetry anthology. I was just talking to Professor Edwin Thampo, who is from Singapore, and he's a unofficial poet laureate of his own country. He was very keen to contribute a poem. So I built this way. I am still, it's a still work in progress. I still need to have another 90 countries for this poetry anthology, global poetry anthology, to be complete. But I'm sure that once this book is ready, I think it would bring together the poetic community across the planet. It would also be a realization that our planet is a small place where we share the poetic sensibilities, and we could come together for to
unite.
make to not unite in a sense, but to come together to share this sense that we also belong to a planet as much as belong to our countries.
So you're an artist apart from being a poet. Can you tell me what kind of art it is that you do, and if you've received any kind of formal training?
I also started as an artist in Russia, learning from Russian artists. My book on Russian artists, called Art Life of St. Petersburg, includes interviews and artworks of different Russian artists. So I do not have a formal training in art. I started by doing it, as I don't have formal training in poetry. I started writing poetry without having a BA or MA in literature. In the same way, I started painting without having a formal training, and I have so far done several exhibitions, including in St. Petersburg, in Paris, in Delhi, and now one scheduled in Kathmandu. And these my artworks mainly focus on this planetary consciousness. It's a fusion of symbolism and suprematism, which brings together different features, different emotions through geometrical patterns and symbolism. Most of my artworks focus on this idea that we belong to a greater we have greater identities, and the identity of a planet, identity of humanity, rather than so it's a sort of a fusion artwork where you bring together cultures, identities, religions, and their symbols, into on the canvas at one place.
That is lovely. Do you have any message for young writers out there?
Yes. Most of the young writers, because publishing is a very hard place, and so young writers should not get disheartened in the beginning if they don't find publishers. Sometimes it's not to you would thank yourself for not getting published, because some of the writings at a very young stage you do might be you may find those writings so bad later in life that you would like to buy all the published copies and burn them or remove them from the public. So not finding a publisher is not so bad thing. Give yourself time, and gradually your quality of writing would improve. As well as, second thing is that even as a successful writer, you won't make much money. So don't take to writing for either fame or money, because both are very hard to come. There are like millions of writers across the world. One writer gets a $1 million advance, but 99% of writers are they can't manage enough money to make out a living. So if you're looking for money or fame, it's not there in writing. You have to be really, really lucky and extraordinary to reach the top. So, but writing should be taken as a process you enjoy. So you receive your gratification instantly.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to wait to be published.
Correct.
For example, I don't write poems to be published. I write poems because I enjoy doing it, and I need those poems. It's like the food for the soul.
Correct.
Because my own professional life is dry.
Okay.
So I need something else to balance it, and that's why I write poetry. That's why I write prose, because I want to express myself, not because I want to earn money or I want to earn fame or something. So that's my message to the young writers. Do what you enjoy. It includes writing, and once you enjoy doing it, success and money will come to you automatically. You don't have to look for it.
Thank you very much for sitting with us today.
Thank you, Zina.
Well, that's all we have for today. Look forward for some more interviews.